What if everything you have been told about investing, about the stock market, about retirement accounts, about what ordinary people can and cannot build, was designed by and for a system that was never built with you in mind? Tony Robbins spent 3 years interviewing 50 of the most successful investors in the world. Not bloggers, not commentators, not people with opinions about money. The people who actually move markets. Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, Carl Icahn, Jack Bogle, Paul Tudor Jones. He sat with them. He asked them the questions that most people never get to ask. And then he did something almost no one in the financial world had ever done before. He translated what they told him into a language that anyone at any income level, at any starting point, could actually use. That book is Money, Master the Game, and it is the most comprehensive wealth framework we have covered in this entire series. Not because it is the most spiritual, not because it contains the most powerful manifestation teaching, but because it takes everything we have built across 5 previous videos, the psychology, the energy, the architecture, the blueprint, the ancient laws, and shows you exactly how to make it work in the real world with real money in a real investment portfolio. Today we go all the way through the CosmiReads manifestation lens. Because Tony Robbins did not just write a financial book. He wrote a permission slip. Permission to play the game the way the wealthy play it. Permission to stop being a spectator in your own financial life. Permission to decide, finally and completely, that the game is yours to win. Welcome back to the Wealth Edit by CosmiReads. Video 6. 6 books in. 6 layers of the same truth building on each other. Housel gave us the psychology, the money story running beneath every decision. Sincero gave us the energy, the universe as co-creator, the upper limit, the worth that was always there. Kiyosaki gave us the architecture, assets versus liabilities, building your own column 1. Icahn gave us the blueprint, the specific files installed in childhood that determine every financial outcome until you rewrite them. Clayson gave us the ancient laws, the timeless principles that have produced wealth in every era without exception. Robbins now gives us the game, the specific, practical, completely actionable framework for what to do with the wealth you are building, how to protect it, how to grow it, how to make it generate income that outlasts your working years. Dispenza taught us that the body becomes the mind, that the way you think and feel about your future literally shapes the neural architecture that creates it. Robbins is now handing you the map of the territory that future lives in. The territory is real, the path is clear, and the only question left is whether you are willing to walk it. Before the framework. A moment with Robbins himself. Because his context matters. He did not grow up with money. He grew up without it. In a household where scarcity was the weather, not a season. His mother was difficult. His childhood was chaotic. And somewhere in that chaos, he made a decision that shaped everything that followed. That he was going to figure out not just how to survive, but how to build a life of genuine abundance. And then he was going to give everything he learned away. Money. Master the Game is the product of that promise. 3 years of access to people most of us will never sit in a room with, boiled down into 7 steps that anyone can follow. And the first thing Robbins does, before any strategy, before any investment vehicle, before any framework, is tell the truth about the financial industry. The fees that quietly consume 1/3 of your lifetime investment returns. The conflicts of interest that orient financial advice toward commission rather than outcome. the specific structural advantages the wealthy use that were always available to everyone but rarely explained. He does not say the system is broken. He says the game has rules and most players do not know what they are. Learning the rules is not cynicism. It is the first act of genuine financial empowerment. The first key insight is the one that reframes every investment decision you will ever make. And Robbins opens with it because without it, nothing else lands correctly. Become an insider. Stop being a consumer of financial products and start being an educated participant in your own financial future. Robbins identifies what he calls the 9 financial myths, the beliefs most people hold about investing that are costing them enormous amounts of money over time. The most dangerous myth is this: my financial advisor is legally required to act in my best interest. Most are not. Most operate under a suitability standard. They must recommend products that are suitable for you, not necessarily optimal for you. The distinction is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. The manifestation connection here is the one Murphy made so clearly. The subconscious runs the programs it has been given, whether those programs are true or not. Most people have been given a program that says the financial system is too complex for them, that experts should be trusted without question, that ordinary people do not have access to what wealthy people access. Every one of those programs is a wealth file Icahn would immediately identify and rewrite. The truth is simpler and more powerful. The game has rules. You can learn the rules. And the moment you learn them, the game changes permanently in your favor. Isabella had been putting money into her company's default investment fund for 9 years, the one her HR department recommended when she started. She had never looked at the fees. She had never questioned the allocation. She had never considered whether the fund was optimal or merely suitable. She read Robbins' first insight and spent one Saturday afternoon doing what he prescribes, actually reading her investment statements. What she found was a management expense ratio of 2.3%. It sounds small. Over a 30-year investment horizon, it would consume approximately 40% of her total investment returns. She moved to a low-cost index fund with a 0.2% MER. The investment amount was identical. The destination was unrecognizably different. She told me afterwards that the most powerful thing about that Saturday was not the financial decision. It was the realization that she had been a passive participant in her own financial life for 9 years because she had been given a program that said the experts were handling it. The second key insight is the one Robbins says is the single most important financial decision of your life, and his conviction about it is absolute. Become a saver and an investor, not someday, not when you earn more, not after the next big expense, now, automatically, permanently. Robbins teaches the concept of paying yourself first through automatic investment, taking a percentage of every paycheck before it ever touches your spending account and routing it directly into your investment portfolio. He calls this making it automatic, not aspirational. The difference between someone who becomes financially free and someone who does not is almost never income. It is this single habit, applied consistently over time with the power of compound interest doing its work. Robbins illustrates this with numbers so clear they are impossible to argue with. 2 people. One starts investing at 25 and stops at 35, 10 years of contributions. The other starts at 35 and invests for 30 years. The person who started earlier and stopped earlier almost always has more money at retirement, not because they contributed more, because time is the variable that makes compounding miraculous. Murphy taught us that the subconscious works continuously, day and night, sleeping and waking. Compound interest works the same way. Every day you delay is a day that compounding is not working for you. Every day you begin is a day it is. Fatima was a 31-year-old nurse who had been telling herself that she could not afford to invest until she paid off more of her student loan. A reasonable story, an expensive story. She read Robbins' second chapter and did the calculation he prescribes. What would her investment portfolio look like at 65 if she started investing $200 a month today versus $200 a month in 5 years? The difference was not small. It was staggering. Not because $200 a month is a large amount, but because 5 years of compound growth on an already compounding base creates a gap that no future contribution rate can fully close. She set up an automatic transfer of $150 per fortnight into a low-cost index fund the week after reading the chapter. She did not wait until the student loan was gone. She did not wait until she felt ready. She did not wait for a better time. She made it automatic. She made it now. And she called me 6 months later, not to report a dramatic portfolio figure, the figures were still modest, but to say that for the first time in her adult life, she felt like someone who was building a future rather than someone who was surviving a present. The third key insight is the one that most directly addresses the fear that keeps most people from investing at all. The fear of loss, the fear of market crashes, the fear of putting what they have worked for into something they cannot fully control. Robbins' answer to that fear is one of the most practically elegant concepts in the entire book, the asset allocation bucket system. Specifically, Robbins teaches a 3-bucket approach to your total wealth. Bucket 1, the security bucket. This is the money you cannot afford to lose. Cash, government bonds, fixed income, home equity. Safe, boring, not designed to grow dramatically. It is the financial equivalent of what you sleep on. Bucket 2, the risk and growth bucket. This is the money that can afford to be in the market. Index funds, equities, real estate investment trusts. This money accepts volatility because it has time and the security bucket behind it. Bucket 3, the dream bucket. This is the money that funds the life you are building, travel, experiences, generosity, the things that make wealth worth having. Clayson's play jar and Icah's give jar live in bucket 3. The manifestation dimension of this framework is profound. Sincero taught us that abundance built on deprivation collapses, that you must play with money, enjoy it, give it, circulate it with full permission. Robbins' dream bucket is the structural permission for exactly that. It is not irresponsible pleasure. It is essential abundance practice, encoded into your allocation. May had been paralyzed by investing since a stock market correction 6 years earlier had turned what felt like a small beginning into a smaller ending. She understood intellectually that markets recover. She could not make herself move past the emotional memory of the loss. She read Robbins' bucket system and recognized what had happened to her 6 years earlier. She had put money she could not afford to lose, security bucket money, into a risk and growth bucket position. The mismatch between the bucket and the investment was not a market failure. It was an allocation failure. She restructured completely. She designated a security amount she was genuinely comfortable holding, the amount that let her sleep, and put it into government bonds and high-interest savings. Only what remained above that comfort floor went into her growth bucket. The market became something she could participate in again, because the part of her money that needed to be safe was safe. She told me the bucket framework did not change her returns. It changed her relationship with risk, and her relationship with risk was the only thing that had ever actually been the problem. The fourth key insight is the most counterintuitive and possibly the most powerful thing in the entire book. Robbins calls it the all-weather portfolio, and it comes from Ray Dalio, the founder of the largest hedge fund in the world. Dalio's core insight is this: most investors design their portfolio for one type of economic environment. They bet on growth, they load up on equities, and they do well when growth is the prevailing condition, but suffer severely when it is not. Dalio's all-weather portfolio is designed to perform acceptably in every economic environment. Growth, recession, inflation, deflation, by holding specific percentages of assets that behave differently in each condition. The specific allocation Dalio shared with Robbins: 30% equities, 40% long-term government bonds, 15% intermediate bonds, 7.5% gold, 7.5% commodities. Back-tested over the last 75 years, this portfolio has produced average annual returns of approximately 9.7%, with losses in only 4 out of every 47 years. And the largest single-year loss was under 4%. This is not the highest returning portfolio available. It is the most consistent. And consistency, as Classen taught us across 2,000 years of evidence, is the variable that actually produces wealth. Not brilliance, not timing, not a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Consistency. The all-weather portfolio is the investment equivalent of Icah's jar system, a structure that takes the decision out of the moment and encodes the right behavior permanently. Camille was a 42-year-old small business owner who had been managing her investment portfolio herself, checking it daily, reacting to headlines, moving in and out of positions based on news cycles and anxiety levels. She was not losing money overall. She was losing the compounding she would have had if she had left everything alone. She read Dalio's all-weather allocation and did something she had never done before. She set the allocation once, rebalanced annually, and then stopped looking at it, except on rebalance day. The first month she checked the portfolio 3 times a day out of habit. The second month she checked it twice a week. By the 4th month she had genuinely stopped, not because she stopped caring, because she had encoded a structure that made caring through constant monitoring pointless. She told me the greatest gift of the all-weather portfolio was not financial. It was the emotional space that opened up when she was no longer managing anxiety about money every single day. That space went back into her business. Her business grew. The compound effect of freed attention is as real as the compound effect of invested capital. The fifth key insight is the one that ties the entire Robbins framework to the deepest teaching of the Wealth Edit series. And it is also the one most people skip because it feels like a reward rather than a strategy. Create a lifetime income plan. Design your financial life to generate income that continues regardless of whether you are working. Not retirement in the traditional sense, the permission to stop, but financial freedom in the Robbins sense, the point at which your passive income covers your lifestyle expenses completely and your work becomes a choice rather than an obligation. Robbins names 5 specific levels of financial freedom. Level 1, financial security. Your investment income covers your basic survival needs. Level 2, financial vitality. It covers your basic needs plus some of the small pleasures. Level 3, financial independence. It covers your current lifestyle completely. Level 4, financial freedom. It covers your current lifestyle plus the dreams. Level 5, absolute financial freedom. It covers any lifestyle you could imagine. He asks a question that stops most people cold. Which level are you actually aiming for? Because most people have never named it. And without naming it, without giving the universe the specific vibrational target, the subconscious has no program to run toward. Murphy taught us that the subconscious needs a clear instruction. Dispenza taught us that the body needs to feel the elevated emotion of the future state in the present moment. Robbins teaches us that the future state needs a number attached to it before any of that can work. Aaliyah had been saying she wanted financial freedom for 4 years. She had a vision board, she had affirmations, she had a morning practice, and she had never once sat down and calculated what financial freedom actually meant in specific monthly cash flow terms for her specific life. She read Robbins' income level framework and spent 2 hours doing the calculation she had been avoiding. She discovered that financial independence, level 3, required a monthly passive income of $4,200 based on her actual current lifestyle. That specific number changed everything. It turned a dream into a target. It turned a target into a plan. It turned a plan into a set of monthly actions she could actually take. She began reverse engineering from the number. What portfolio size would generate that monthly income at a 4% withdrawal rate? What was the gap between her current portfolio and that number? How many months at her current savings rate until she closed the gap? Every question had an answer. Every answer had an action. Every action was a vote for the identity of someone who was not hoping for financial freedom, but building it, deliberately, specifically, and with the same calm precision that Icahn brought to his first gold coin in ancient Babylon. 5 ways to apply money. Master the game to your manifestation and wealth practice right now. 1. Spend 1 hour this week becoming an insider. Pull out your investment statements, every account, every fund, every pension vehicle. Find the fees. Find the management expense ratios. Research what low-cost index alternatives exist for every product you currently hold. This single hour could be worth more to your long-term wealth than any other action you take this year. 2. Make your investment automatic today. Choose a percentage. Start with 1% of your income if that is where you are. Set up an automatic transfer that happens the day after every paycheck. Do not let it be aspirational. Make it structural. The structure is the practice. 3. Build your 3 buckets this week. On paper first. What is your security number? The amount that lets you sleep. What is above that threshold that can go into growth? What portion of your income funds your dream bucket? Guilt-free, purposeful, abundant. Name the buckets. Give them actual numbers. 4. Research the all-weather portfolio allocation. Read about Ray Dalio's approach. Consider whether it fits your timeline and temperament. If you are currently 100% in equities, explore what adding bonds and alternative assets does to the consistency of your returns over time. 5. Calculate your freedom number. Use Robbins' 5 levels. Decide which level you are aiming for. Be specific, be honest, choose a real level, rather than the vaguest possible aspiration. Calculate the monthly passive income that level requires for your actual lifestyle. Write it down. Put it on your vision board beside your affirmations. Give the universe a specific address to deliver to. Your 7-day Wealth Edit Challenge. Day 1. Pull every investment statement you hold and audit all fees. Find every MER and annual cost. Day 2. Set up one automatic investment transfer, any amount, today. Day 3. Build your 3 buckets on paper with real numbers from your real financial life. Day 4. Research one low-cost index fund available in Canada and compare its 10-year performance to what you currently hold. Day 5. Read about the all-weather portfolio and decide whether its principles apply to your current allocation. Day 6. Calculate your freedom number using Robbins' 5 levels. Pick your level, calculate the monthly income, calculate the portfolio size required. Day 7. Write your financial freedom identity statement, present tense, specific, emotionally alive. Read it every morning this week during your miracle morning with Dispenza's elevated emotion. Drop one word in the comments that describes what it feels like to go from spectator to player in your own financial life. Just one word. I read and reply to every single one. Money. Master the Game is not a book about getting rich. It is a book about getting free. And freedom is not a destination you arrive at when the numbers are finally right. It is a decision you make about who you are and how you engage with your own financial life, starting now with what you have at the level you are at. Housel showed us the story. Sincero showed us the energy. Kiyosaki showed us the architecture. Icahn showed us the blueprint. Clayson showed us the ancient laws. Robbins now shows us the game, and you have everything you need to play it. Hit the like button if this series has been building something real in you. Subscribe and hit the bell because Video 7 is The Source by Dr. Tara Swart, and it is the most neuroscience meets manifestation book we have ever covered on this channel. It is going to change how you understand everything we have built across this entire series. Your free downloads are in the description. Thank you for being part of CosmiReads. Manifest, read, rise. See you in the next one.